So the NBA playoffs are coming up soon.
And the Jazz are on the edge. Brady, are they going to make it in?
I have no idea if they're going to make it in. They're really giving me, heart tremors right now. First they lose a bunch of games, then they win a bunch of games, and now, I don't know. Next on Sports Playoff Push. With just a few games to go, it's crunch time for the Jazz, but some tough teams stand between them and their postseason hopes. And first place finish, BYU Volleyball looks to close out the regular season as the #1 team in the conference, because 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers. Sports is next. Stay tuned. Good news. After losing 12 out of 15 games, the Jazz went on a 5-game tear to keep their playoff hopes alive. Bad news? They played the Nuggets last night. They hung around in the first quarter. Big Al finds Gordon Hayward. Nice pass to Derek Favors, who finishes with the baseline beauty. That's about it for the Jazz, though. AI making a fool out of a couple defenders, then finishes with the reverse for no reason other than it's awesome. Here's where it gets ugly for the Jazz, though. Andre Miller from half court, and the Manimal goes up and gets it. Fareed was 8 of 10 from the floor. Fourth quarter now, Danilo Gallinari. That's an early dagger right there. Oof. Then he says, I kill you, I love you, and then his teammates doing something I really don't understand, but the Nuggets win 113-96. If the playoffs started today, the Jazz would be the 9th seed in the West, which would be just fine, except only the top 8 teams make the playoffs. If the Jazz and the Lakers end up with the same record, Utah does own the tiebreaker. The Jazz have just 6 games left on the schedule, and 3 of those 6 will be against teams that are poised to make the playoffs. Carmelo Anthony was as smooth as his name sounds last night against the Hawks. You know he had a good night when the fans start the MVP chant on the road. Remember 2 days ago, Melo dropped 50 against the Heat. Well, how's 24 in the first half sound? Pretty good way to follow up the half-century night. Kid helps Melo put the cherry on top with the alley-oop. Melo drops 40 as the Knickerbockers win their 10th straight, 95-82. The Sprint Center in Kansas City, Missouri announced this morning that it will play host to the College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic this November, and our boys are invited. BYU is one of 4 teams scheduled to play in the tournament, along with DePaul, Texas, and the team that's breaking brackets and stealing hearts as we speak, the Shockers of Wichita State. In Lil Wayne's song Sure Thing, he gives Jimmer Fredette a shout-out with the line, shooting like Jimmer. Well, he may want to change the lyrics to suing like Jimmer. The former Cougar standout is tied up in a lawsuit against Black Clover Enterprises. Fredette says they owe him $50,000 plus royalties, and they kept using his likeness in their products despite not giving him his money. Moving from one former Cougar to a very recent former Cougar, the big man Brandon Davies may be done putting on his BYU jersey, but he's still got one more game to play. Davies will suit up as a member of the East team in the Reese's D1 College All-Star Game. He'll be playing against some familiar faces, Notre Dame's Jack Cooley, Will Clyburn of Iowa State, and Baylor's Pierre Jackson, who single-handedly buried the Cougs in the NIT Final Four. With 2 wins last season, the BYU volleyball team clinched the #1 spot in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation tournament. 11 sports reporter Mark Chalice is live in the newsroom. Mark, if the #1 seed's already in the bag, what's left to play for?
Come on, Brady. If Herm Edwards were here, he'd be like, you play to win the game. Hello? But really, there is something more important. The team still hasn't secured a regular season title. They'll have to do that now on the road.
The nation's top-ranked team is trying to do something it hasn't done since 2004. With one more win, the Cougs will lock up the outright regular season title, and they have to do it away from home. The trip may seem less lonely than you'd expect. Players say BYU fans generally outnumber the other teams even on the road.
It's unreal playing at away games because it's guaranteed we have almost twice as many fans as, the other team.
With that strong support on the road, the Cougars aren't just looking for that magical last win. Their philosophy is to work hard and the rest will come.
We can't control winning and losing. We can't control a lot of that stuff to a large extent. What we can control is our effort every day, and we feel like if we have a great effort every day, then that's going to translate into nice results down the road.
And after those nice results give the Cougars a nice regular season title. What keeps them going? It's simple. This team wants to win.
We don't really care if we win 1, lose 3. That's a total downer. It doesn't really mean much. So we're trying to win all of them.
BYU has Uncle Mo on its side going into the 4-game road trip. They're on an 11-game winning streak and hitting over 50% over the last 2 games.
In volleyball, teams can't clinch a spot in the NCAA tournament during the regular season, so the Cougars are going to have to play their way through the conference tourney to make it. Live in the newsroom, Mark Chalice, 11 Sports.
Thanks, Mark. Well, who's going to be the key to a strong postseason run for BYU?
I'm going to have to go with Russ Levaya. People call him the lava monster. I prefer the term Leviathan because the man's game has an impact of biblical proportions for the Cougars. He was out earlier this season with a rolled ankle, and for a few games they didn't have him, and there was nobody, not anybody on that team who could replace his presence in the middle.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Did we just hear Leviathan?
Yeah, you know what a Leviathan is? It's like a
Chalice.
biblical sea serpent creature monster, and that's pretty a flattering nickname for Rusty to have, you know?
That
It's a
is
big deal,
extremely flattering.
And only 4 games left for the Cougs, but all on the road, so I don't know how that's going to happen.
No, I'm bummed. I love going to those games. They're just so exciting, and the crowd is incredible.
Absolutely.
It is incredible. It gets so loud inside. I really wish we at least had one home game left.
And they do that like shark attack thing. So fun.
So fun.
Thanks, Brady.